The African Continental Free Trade Area says will lift 30 million Africans, including Nigerians, out of poverty by 2035. This was made known by Professor Kingsley Moghalu, chairman of the African Private Sector Summit. As of August 2023, 47 out of 54 African countries have ratified the treaty. The AfCFTA will boost intra-African trade by 52%, lift 30 million people out of poverty, and increase the continent's GDP by $450 billion by 2035. Moghalu emphasized the need for the strengthening of the African private sector to leverage the association's provision. As Moghalu emphasized the necessity of adopting the Private Sector Bill of Rights as a complementary instrument alongside the Regional Economic Communities, RECs, and the summit to shape the desired future for Africa. And of course, joining me live right now in the studio to discuss this is Nneoma Obi-Asualo, Maritime Correspondent for News Central TV. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which started in 2021, is significant for Africa's political and economic aspirations. Now, how is this trade agreement fared, and do you think it's an ambitious agenda?
I think the African Continental Free Trade Area or Agreement has not fared well, and I think a lot of stakeholders will agree with this position because African leaders have lacked the political will to be able to embrace the opportunities this trade brings, because also they have not been sensitive to the opportunity it offers. According to the World Bank, AfCFTA, which is known as the African Continental Free Trade Area, says this trade agreement will increase Africa's income by $450 billion by 2035. And it will also increase intra-African exports by more than 81%. Can you beat that? So you can just see that our leaders are not sensitive to this opportunity. Right now, what we have is about 4%. So you can imagine us migrating from 4% to 81% for a continent that is import-based. If we can export at 81%, you can imagine what that will do to our continent. According to your story here, you will see that how many people will be brought, about 30 million people will be brought out of poverty just by embracing this African trade, and our leaders just coming together, because each individual countries cannot really achieve much by doing it single-handed, but we have to come back together. So we can also see that Africa is the biggest single market in the world, single biggest market in the world. So, and we have, Africa has about 20% of the world population are Africans. So you can just imagine if we just embrace this trade, what it will do for Africa.
All right, now let's talk about the importance of the intra-African trade, of course, which cannot be downplayed. Now, what are the bottlenecks in beating intra-African trade?
Okay, before I go into the reasons or things that are inhibiting this trade, you can also see, I will also credit Rwanda and Kenya, and of course, Togo is becoming the logistic and economic hub of West Africa. There are some African leaders who have taken the lead in and embracing this. So looking at what are the things that are inhibiting African trade, majorly is our borders. You cannot sign a trade and at the next moment you are closing your borders. So one of the things we have is regional closure, border issues. We have border issues. We can see that we have border issues. Those are one of them. We also have huge infrastructural deficit. We have huge infrastructural deficits. We have tariff challenges. We have extortion. We have regional integration. We have pro-trade logistics. that is one of the logistics and supply chain is one of the issues that is inhibiting this African continent. We also have to look at the port congestion. So these are the issues that are inhibiting this African trade. And I want to believe that if our leaders could look into the opportunities this trade offers and embrace it, we will really bring a lot of millions of Africans out of poverty.
I mean, these are really interesting times, you would agree with me, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.